Not yet. It still just has like the thumbnail and it says upcoming.
Wild. That's fun. This is a whole new test thing for us. So if anyone's watching either in the future or right now, this is a fun little experiment for us. But yeah. So I had to start streaming from OBS, and then it gave me the ability to have it go live automatically. So that interesting, fun. I like it. It's
Nice.
fun.
Learning.
We are now officially live. Hello, Tyler. Ty, how are you?
Hello.
Hi. This is another fun night dive. This one's a little different than the normal night dives I do that are in existence, I guess. So this one, first of all, thank you for obviously joining me again, but also thank you for helping me and guiding me through this whole marathon training and putting me on a path that helps me go for success and leads me to success. So appreciate it.
It's the least I could do. It's almost like I finally have a chance to kind of give back for everything that you've done in my music career, right? Like from the very first time I had a guitar in junior high, probably, yeah. Wild.
Man.
Anyways.
Yeah.
No, I've learned so much. I look back when I used to be when I was getting into running. So many things I feel like I just had wrong. And so if I could save anyone some time and pain and get them to success quicker, why not?
Sure. Well, I love it. Yeah, so I don't know. Should I this is kind of new territory for me, but I'm feeling like I should at least explain real quickly what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And then you got a way to start.
Yeah. So I'm doing I've never done any kind of official race. For anyone watching, I've never done a 5K official, like one of those official races. I've never done 10K, half marathon, anything like that. And I started running a couple months ago and just decided, fuck it, I'm going to do a marathon. I'm going to find one that's in my city and I'm going to do it. And I found one in November. And it is it's June. When I found it, it was maybe April, maybe. So, I was running anyway, but you were kind of guiding me along and saying like, use this time right now as get your body into running shape and get your mind into like, this is what running feels like. And then at some point, figure out where your 20 weeks are before the marathon, and let's come up with the plan. And we're here.
You're a few days away.
We're here, yeah. So it's on November 11th, I think, or I think it's the 11th.
Yep.
And so yeah, I think Monday would be about 20 weeks, pretty much on the spot before that race. And so yeah, we're just gonna walk through. I don't know. At this point you could probably take over, but yeah, I envision it being like just walking me through like mileages I could do every day and looking at overall weeklies and just the runs themselves. But yeah,
yeah. Well, first off, hats off to you. I know in one of your live streams in your night dives the other day, you had mentioned been 110 days.
Yeah,
so I think that's incredible. I was running in the past and I had recently gotten back into it. And so I did something similar. I did a 20-week block that was just base building, getting back into it, getting my weekly mileage back up to what I wanted it as a starting point. So you've basically done the same thing. And really sticking to that 10% rule, because I knew at the start of my marathon training, I wanted to be around 25 to 30 miles that I could do weekly right off the get-go. But when I started my first 20-week block to get back in to running, I started at 7 miles probably that first week and stuck to a 10% increase. So, you're going for those first few weeks, you can only increase 1 mile per week. So it definitely took that 20 weeks to get up to a comfortable starting point.
Wild.
So
For
you've
anyone
done the
who,
same thing, man. You've done
for
the same
anyone,
thing.
thanks, man. For anyone who doesn't know 10% rule, do you want to explain that real quick, or what do you think?
Why don't you? You've heard it enough. Let's hear it.
I'll mess it up. Don't put me
No
on the
way.
spot. Don't
So
put me on
yeah,
the
just
spot.
going week to week, week over week, you want to calculate your total mileage, and you want to make sure you don't increase your weekly mileage the next week by more than 10%.
So
of
if
what
you
you did the
do
week
like 10
before.
miles in a week, the next week you want to run 11 miles, right?
That would be the max. Yep. And
I
then
see.
every so often I do what's called a step down week, where I don't increase. I in fact like decrease, and then the following week after a step down week, I'll then do the 10% increase from the week prior.
Interesting.
So a little step down week is nice. Sometimes you change it up and you'll do an intense workout in the step down week. Or you could just really use it as like a straight recovery week. I'm going to drop my mileage, give my body kind of a little break.
But still
and
keep running and still keep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll talk about that as we go through your kind of breakdown from week to week. But the other way people will look at the 10% rule is also time. So a lot of people, when they're getting into running, it's highly encouraged, and I would agree that you should go off time more than your mileage.
Interesting.
If you just say, I'm going to go run for 20 minutes, and you just run out for 10 minutes, and then you're going to come back for about 10 or 11 minutes. And who cares what your distance was, who cares what your pace was, is to really help the runner be able to enjoy running, to learn running, not be stressed about like, dang, back in high school, I was running a 7-minute mile and now I can't even break 9. It's just go feel yourself, feel it out. And so if you're doing that, the same 10% rule would occur. Take your weekly total time of running and don't increase more than 10% the next week.
Interesting.
And then last, the third way the 10% rule comes into play is when we look at our long run for the week. As we increase the length of our long run, that single individual workout, we want to make sure that long run doesn't increase more than 10% week over week.
Yeah, wild. Yeah. So most training plans, I assume, most runners will do one long run in a week. Does that seem right?
Yep, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So
that's going to usually fall because most people work a 9 to 5, unfortunately. Most of the time, that long run occurs on Saturday or Sunday.
I see.
And in the beginning, if you fit that mold currently and you need to do it on the weekend, you can be flexible. But
Oh, and there it goes. We tried to get it out of the way before the run, before the video. Every time we do one of these live streams together, maybe it's Google Meets. I'm not sure. Maybe we should look into Zoom. Zoom has most of you know, it's got like a 40-minute like time limit on the free version. So we're like, I don't know about that. Google Meets, you can meet for as long as you want, but maybe this is an issue from that. Because it seems like we have at least one of these every time we do a live stream. So yeah, we'll just wait for him to hop back in. Oops, that's not what we want. There it is.
Did you at least warn our audience it's going to happen one more time now?
Oh, I didn't actually. I was thinking like maybe it's Google Meets. Maybe. I wonder if Zoom. I mean, it sucks that it's like a 40-minute time limit on there, but I wonder if that would. I don't know.
Oh wow.
Who knows?
Oh well.
We all die in the end, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, so you were saying, I believe, that you don't want to increase your mileage on the long runs either. You only want to do a 10% increase. I want to say real quick that like hearing you say that you started with 7 miles a week. So that's a mile a day. And that's where you started, and you didn't increase. You stuck to that 10% rule.
10% rule.
The mental strength.
It was like 2 runs maybe even 3. Slowly, I built up to 3 runs per week.
Oh,
So they were
okay.
2, 3, 4 mile runs.
Okay.
But it
Still.
wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't running daily.
Okay.
But yeah,
Still, dude.
once
The
I got to
mental
like mile
strength to do that.
15,
Jeez. Gosh. Because like that's a whole form of discipline that's different. It's a different form of discipline in and of itself.
it is, especially where I mean, in the peak of my running in the past, like I've had over 100-mile week before, and so
Jeez.
it's like, yeah, to just humble yourself. And
Yeah.
but I've also, when I was running those mileages in the past, I wasn't in the minimalist shoes that I am now, and so I did think getting back into running, I wanted to make sure my Achilles was lengthening properly and just those little mechanics.
Sure. Cool. That makes sense. But cool. Okay. So, should I share my screen? Do you want to dive into the thing you?
Yeah, I think
should we explain it?
Before you share your screen, I think the one thing I want to just buzz through is just some terminology that we're going to use,
Okay.
specifically for the workouts. And everything we're going to talk about today, we'll just kind of keep it in general terms. And so later we'll go back through specifically and look at the paces that we want you to hit as far as an actual time. But I do want to kind of describe what the different type of paces are. So when we say on this day we're going to do this type of workout, we just have a general understanding of what that means.
Sure. Okay.
And so the first one we've already hit on is long run. So we're going to have our long run of the week. And I'm going to recommend that we build up to at least 21 miles. I think in my Ogden Marathon prep, I did 22 and a half was the longest I did.
Oh, I see.
But I made sure time-wise, the 22 and a half was 3 hours, at least 3 hours long.
I remember that.
That was my goal pace. And so
I remember that, yeah.
So we'll make sure you build up to at least 21. But that's long run is one phrase we'll use. The next one we'll talk about is easy run.
Sure.
And for a lot of my training, I was doing what would be considered an easy run based on heart rate. So I knew my zone 1, zone 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I wanted to make sure I never went into zone 3. So I was in zone 1 and 2, and for myself, that was like around 150 beats per minute. And so the rule was could not go over that.
Sure.
And so as time went on, I did develop like an actual pace that I was associating to easy, and it was about a full minute, almost a minute 10, slower than what race pace was going to be. So if my race pace was a 6:50, because that's what I needed to do to qualify for Boston, then my easy pace could be a 7:50 to even 8 minutes.
Interesting.
An 8-minute mile. And in the past, I would think like, nope, that was never happening. I was trying to ingrain race pace, but these easy runs are crucial in our training plan. First, just to keep us healthy. And by staying healthy, then we can be consistent. And I think the best training plan is the one we stick to. Like that's a pretty common phrase that people use, even in like the weightlifting world. Some people will start a program in a week or two in, they don't see the results they want, so they think they need to go find a new plan. But the best plan, the best training plan is the one you stick to and see through. And in the past, because I wasn't running like correctly and I was doing too hard of runs too often and I wasn't doing easy runs, I would end up injured. And so I've like in the past, I don't think I ever finished an actual 20-week training plan.
Interesting.
Ever.
Really?
Because I would get a few weeks in, get hurt, have to take time off. And then it was always between like 6, 8, 10, maybe 12 weeks. And so it was always about scrambling something else together, something new.
I see. And there's the other one. That's the last one. That's the last one. We always have two of them. We met like 15 minutes before. We were hoping to get at least one of them out of the way. Ouch. But c'est la vie. Yeah, it's just interesting his I'm going to ask him a couple. Well, I mean he'll walk through everything, but I'm always just kind of blown away by the level of detail that he has. It's for me it's my standard of things is very low. And so, even him making the training plan, I was like, man, this is intense. This is awesome. But I know for him, he's like, nah, it's easy. Okay. Those.
It's
Those.
out. It's out of the way though.
Those. I know. I was saying we tried to meet. We met 15 minutes beforehand to try and get one of those out of the way. But
Yep.
all
That's
right.
all right.
Okay, we're back in it. All right.
Back.
Um.
So that's
yeah.
easy pace, right? Like
Yeah,
we went
so,
through,
yeah.
you got the rest of that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
Nice.
long run, easy run.
And then again, because I mentioned a minute to a minute 10 specifically to the pace that I was training at, that the duration of that could be longer. For someone who's aiming for a marathon at a pace of maybe 9 minutes, for an easy pace for them, it could be 2 minutes slower.
I see.
You know,
Yeah.
so that ratio is going to change. I'm just kind of using that as an example. And again, if you can tie it to heart rate and have that line in the sand of like, hey, my heart rate cannot go above this level,
Yeah.
or else I need to humble myself and slow down because today is an easy run.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, as a quick side note, my my Fitbit I've got it and it can track my, heart rate and stuff, but I know that we've talked about it, but it's just been, it doesn't work as well. It just has some issues with it. So, I think before Monday, I'm going to go and get one, just an upgraded one so that I can track my heart rate really well.
Nice.
So that I can,
Nice.
so that it's easy, because it seems like these main points that you're talking about, making sure you do get a long run, but keeping the mileage for the week, pretty consistent, as well as especially the easy runs. Those are seemingly really, really important, but also heart rate and tracking your heart rate. Those kind of 4 factors seem like they're kind of the main ones for running and kind of in general,
Yeah.
like if you want to improve.
And there's one more. And
okay.
the reason it's so important to have easy runs is so that you can go hard on hard days.
That's right.
And so we'll go through the different type of hard workouts that'll be sprinkled throughout the program. But yeah, if you're killing yourself day in and day out and you have a day that's like starred, you're going to have workouts that are starred on your calendar. And like, this is a workout. This is like a point in my training plan that I can see if I am on track to meet my goal. If we're really time oriented, if we have actual goals more than maybe just finishing.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just finishing, you're going to have these key workouts that, hey, am I on pace? Is my fitness improving? And maybe at the rate that I need it to be prepared for this run. So yeah, to have your easy days easy so that you're rested, rejuvenated, so you can go hard on hard days.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
and so the 3 quick hard workouts that we'll just mention are going to be, I call them just aerobic runs. And I'm gonna allow my heart rate go into zone 3, not zone 4, but I will go into zone 3, and it's going to be typically 30 to 45 seconds faster than easy pace. And because my easy pace and my race pace were about a minute apart, 30 seconds was kind of just a halfway point for me. So that was super nice. I knew it was kind of like a 7:20. Give or take. A lot of times it flirted down to a 7:10, 7:11 was super common through my training program, and that just felt comfortable. That started to feel easy, which was incredible.
Wow.
Incredible feeling that you knew you were getting there, and you'll
Wild.
feel that. You'll feel that, especially if you start monitoring that heart rate.
I'm excited.
Last thing on the heart rate though is I've just been using like a Series 3 Apple Watch. I have nothing fancy. I do want to get something a little bit nicer, especially for this ultra. But I didn't have real-time feedback in my runs about my heart rate. So you can, on some of these higher tech watches and chest strap monitors, have it beep if you go above a certain point, which would be awesome, like, right, spoon-fed.
Sure.
I just really started to be able to feel it, and I could know if I was getting too high.
That's wild. Yeah.
And then at the end of the run, you could look back, on Strava or whatever app you're using, and you can see what your heart rate was. And that's, over time, that's how I developed that connection. I did a run. Okay, how did that feel? Okay, what does it look like on the graph?
Interesting.
And then you start to form that connection.
Wild. Yeah, that seems like such a high level for me. I was
right there. You're right there. You'll feel it. You're right there.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so there's aerobic runs, anaerobic. You probably I'm assuming,
So
or is that a
anaerobic
thing?
is when you're getting, yeah, that's when your threshold's getting higher and higher. So, I mean, that would be considered intervals. And so we have aerobic,
Uh,
we have tempo runs. We'll talk about tempo runs are usually right around race pace. And sometimes we'll even use like our 5K pace, 10K pace, and half marathon pace to help with these tempo runs, which are oftentimes maybe it's like a 2 mile at easy pace and then 2 miles at race pace and then finish with 2 miles at easy pace. Like that could be a workout. 6 miles, and you could call that like a tempo because you know right in the middle, and maybe you're going to do several sections of going back to that faster pace. And that teaches you to be able to turn it on.
Interesting.
So when you just need to be able to turn it on, maybe you go back to easy for a mile, and then you're going to go back to race pace or 10 seconds faster than race pace. These are longer durations. Your intervals, because they're technically it's intervals, right? You're doing intervals of different things, but they're longer durations. Like I said, a mile, 2 miles. Later, for people who are really focusing on getting a faster time in the marathon, they'll start to incorporate tempos into their long run.
Ooh.
And they might do 4-6 miles easy and then do 4 miles at race pace and then finish with another 4 miles back at easy if they're doing like 14 miles, 14, 16 miles.
Wild.
So that's something that I had done because, again, I had a very intense goal of hitting that Boston qualifying time. And I wanted to make sure that, hey, on a 20-mile run, after I've done 14 miles, can I turn it on, right?
Man.
And so
that's intense.
you'll see some of that crossover. But then the third speed hard workout is going to be intervals. And a lot of times this is going to be done on a track, preferably. But again, even my intervals, I think the shortest I did was 800 meters, which is a half mile. If I'm doing 400 meters, I definitely want to be on a track. But even for an 800 meter interval workout, like the Yasso 800s, I've talked about those before.
Yeah.
Even that type of workout, I could get away with doing in my neighborhood and just mapping out what is a half mile and then doing intervals there. Not as ideal. The track is ideal for intervals.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. Lots of factors, lots of things. Any other like terminology, any other names?
No, I think that's kind of it. I think we jump in and we'll just kind of go over the general workflow of how I would begin writing the training plan.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of it. Unless you have any questions or can think of anything that comes up.
I'm just excited to kind of get into it. Because I mean, on my end, I've been thinking about this for a month or two now, in that realm of like, okay, like, you know, I'm just in like a plan of getting my body running, but like I've had this vision of getting to this point right now, and so now I'm just excited to get it like laid down on paper and get going in it. So, yeah, I don't know. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Maybe. Let's see if we can do this here. We'll probably lose you, I think.
That's fine.
And we may lose me. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see if we can just share the tab. That one right there. Let's see. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Hang on one second. I want to make sure that it's working right. At least on my end. I mean, it looks like it's up.
Nice.
Maybe I can still. Hang on. Guys, this is super high tech. For anyone watching. It's not. Ooh, what if I did this? Hang on. Hopefully my computer doesn't wig out. Well, I don't think that's going to work.
Can you
because
just show that one?
huh?
Nice.
I don't think it's gonna work because I can't really edit it.
I'm gonna do the editing.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Woo.
Oh, but can you at least scroll up on it?
I can't really scroll
What
anywhere.
about on your other screen?
Yeah.
Right now, it looks like we're looking at weeks 18, 19, and 20.
I can do this.
Nice. That's what we need. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go like this maybe. So you're kind of still in there. Ah.
Do you see that 100% at the top? Maybe we just make it a little smaller so we can get Saturday and Sunday in.
100% at the top. What are you talking about?
Right under edit, view, insert.
Yeah. I see. 90.
Nice. A little bit more maybe.
Ooh.
There we go.
What's
That's
up?
what we're talking about.
We're
Okay.
smart.
So looking at this general layout that I have that I really like to use, each week you're going to see has 3 different rows. And that top week is what we're going to fill out today. We're going to
Love it.
map out the training plan.
Cool.
The row underneath is going to be what actually happened. What workout did I actually do? Because maybe life comes up and life happens, and Thursday was going to be my hard workout, but I ended up having to go to a wedding reception or something. Well, I'm going to switch that to Wednesday.
I see.
So I'm going to, for the most part, try to keep my week the same as far as what the workouts are, but I'm fine if I need to do a little mix and match. As long as I don't put any hard workouts or long runs next to each other, I want to make sure I have I want to have easy runs in between. And that's kind of generally speaking. There were a few workouts that I did have in my Ogden Marathon plan that were intentionally 2 kind of tough ones in a row. I wanted to beat my body down and then go into the next day, the workout with tired legs. And that's something I'm really doing a lot right now in my ultra marathon prep. But generally speaking, you won't see that a lot in a general marathon plan. You're going to try to avoid any too hard or long
Intense
runs in a
stuff,
row. Yeah.
Cool. That makes sense.
But that second row, is what actually happened. And it might look exactly like the row above. If you did it, right
Pretty
on,
to a T.
exact, it might just look the exact same.
Sure.
I am putting the details of the workout in. So maybe on Monday, I'm going to write in here. On Monday, this is a 4-mile easy run. And then I'm going to write what happened. A lot of times, I'm going to remember here how to wrap my text.
Nice.
A lot of times I'm doing stuff like this. Maybe this 4 miles took me 32 minutes and 98 or 58 seconds. And then, whatever that pace ends up calculating down to, I'm not sure right off. But it might look something like this. I'm planned on doing a 4-mile easy run, and I ended up doing that 4-mile easy run. This is what my heart rate average ended up being. This is how long it took, and that's what this makes my average mile.
Nice. Love it.
And then down here, maybe I technically ended up running a little bit more than the 4 miles. Like I wanted to do 4, but I hit 4 miles and I was still 2 blocks from home, but I still just ran home, right? So it might end up being like a little bit higher, but those little mileages kind of add up, especially if you're very particular on how many miles you're putting on your shoes. So that's kind of generally what it'll look like as it gets filled out.
Sweet. Okay. Cool.
So this bottom row is just that. It's just going to be the actual mileage.
Yeah, and I was just going to point out that you literally go to the next cell over. So it'll add up. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yep.
It'll add up. So you've done the formulas to where it will add up throughout the week, and then you can see your total mileage for the week.
Yep. And now what's nice is I'm just going to leave that there for an example for just half a second.
Sure.
But as we're creating our workout plan, up in this box, the very first thing, so we're getting into workflow now. So as I'm looking at my training plan, the very first thing I'm going to do for my workflow is go through and do the total mileage I want to do for all the different weeks, 1 through 20. And so for you personally, Jethro, you, I think, finished your longest week right around 21, 22 miles.
Probably.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. And I'm not in Jetthro mode right now. You can call me Jet.
Oh, I've been trying to ingrain it, bro. I've been trying to ingrain it.
Okay. I'm always Jetthro then. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways,
Keep going.
So as we insert that total mileage, that's like the first thing I do, because then as I'm building out my specific week, that's kind of like my currency. That's how much mileage I have to then spread across my week.
Wild.
But
so
was it like 22?
Probably,
right around there?
Probably somewhere between, I don't know, it could even be more, but probably somewhere between 20 and 25. Yeah, it was probably the longest week I did.
Because I was thinking right around 22, 23 is where I was thinking it was. So I was gonna like say, let's do a 10% increase to go, because you're still fresh, you've been working, and I was gonna aim for 25 as kind of a week one base.
Yeah. No, that's great.
The colors here, real fast, as we're looking at the general template, you'll see the first 3 weeks in a color, then it goes into a 6-week block, then into a 9-week block. And if you scroll down just a little bit farther, then the last 2 weeks are kind of taper time right before the week, right before the race.
I see.
So that first 3 weeks, I kind of just call it as like base building, and it's particularly important if you didn't do what like you and I did, as far as like a 110 day block of training and building up. So maybe I had taken time off. A lot of people only do 2 to 3 races a year. They might finish a race and take a month or 2 off. And so as they're starting up their plan again, they might take 3 weeks to do kind of a base building.
I see.
If they're still in pretty good shape, maybe even like a 2-week base building block. So we're going to go 3 week of just base building.
That's what the yellow is, of course.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The next 6 weeks, maybe base building is not the best term to use. It's almost like foundation, lay the foundation, because then the next 6 weeks are building. We really want to make sure we're building during that, increasing our long run to start getting it higher, increasing our weekly mileage. And then that next 9-week block we call marathon specific training. So that's when like our intervals and our tempos become more important, and they're going to be more written towards our pace and making sure we're hitting the paces we should be hitting at this point in our training plan. And then, those last 2 weeks, we're going to start tapering down and making sure we're fresh for race day.
Gotcha. Wild. I love it, man. And seeing everything laid out in 20 weeks, like thinking that far out, is incredible for me to see.
So looking right off here, getting your base building in, I want to make sure this step down week in week 3 happens right before we hit that next 6-week block. So we're going to get you back in, because you probably hit your 25 miles, if I remember right, before our transition to minimalist shoes.
Yes.
But you've done a great job of rebuilding your mileage back up in those shoes. So we'll match with 25, do our kind of 10% increase. Some may say, let's just go 27. We're going to stretch it to 28, because we know we're going to follow it up with a step down week back down to 24.
Nice.
And then another increase of, 2 to get us to 30 for that week 4. I think it's going to be a strong spot to start.
Nice.
I
love it. It just feels electric. Feels electrifying. I feel a tingle in my spine.
Now, another thing that I think we talk about for a second, because you do have some flexibility here, especially in weeks 1, 2, 3, is, you, Jet, or viewer, as you're creating your plan, you have to make the decision of what's my life allow for when it comes to training. Can I get out there 5 days a week?
Yeah.
We do need to make it a priority at some point, especially as we're getting close and we're in our base building and marathon specific. But as you're getting back into it, you only have a currency of, 25 miles. We need to have a long run in there, which is going to take a good chunk of that. So do we want to start with 4 days a week, 5 days a week? Eventually, I want to get you to 6 weeks for sure, or 6 days a week. Yeah.
I've already, for the most part, I've been at 5 or 6 days a week of running already there. I know that I've had a sick week, But even in that sick week, I think I still had at least 4 or 5 runs in that. So essentially what I'm saying is I'm down to be at a minimum five a week.
Nice.
Minimum.
Love it.
Yeah.
Long run. What are you thinking? What's your
To
life
start?
work for? Yeah.
To start? It seems like you got 7 in there.
Day of the week. I'm sorry. Day of the week.
Oh,
for
day
you.
of the week.
Thinking that usually we're gonna follow the long run with a rest day. So some people, again, getting back to work, Monday tends to be a busy day. So a Sunday long run followed by a Monday off day works. But what is your life looking like?
Yeah, a Sunday long run would be just fine. Because, Mondays, I work from home, so I don't have any kind of intense things like that. So that works for me. That works well for me.
And, how did you feel about 7? I know you've done 8, almost 8.5.
I think 7 it'd be a good, like, that feels like it'd be comfortable. It'd be a good thing to shoot for this first week. Because I haven't gotten over. I've done a lot of 3 and 3.5 miles since I've gotten back in, but I haven't even gotten to 4 yet. And so there's a little bit of a mental, like, okay, just this 7. Long story short, 7 would be good. 7's good.
Nice, love it.
Yeah.
So now again, like, I'm just gonna start plugging in some numbers on this bottom and just utilize the calculator. Ultimately, down the line, as I'm filling in my training log, that calculator is just going to calculate what we actually did, but we can utilize that here. And then thinking about off days, are there particular days that are super busy for you?
Not any particular ones. I'm thinking, if anything, probably Tuesdays would be the hardest
Your
one.
busiest day?
Yeah. Because I work a late shift on Tuesday. That feels a little awkward, though. Okay, well, maybe not.
I think later on, when it fits in, to get started, it does. Do you want to do something different and incorporate?
Yeah.
Tuesdays is going to be weird because Monday, if you're following it up with Sunday as your long run.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I pick one, honestly. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. I'll get a run in on Tuesday.
You feel good about starting with 6 days a week? I think we're going to need it to be able to hit our weekly mileage and not go too crazy.
Yeah, that's easy.
And again, when life happens, if we have to do some shuffling around and maybe you need that off day to be on Wednesday instead of Thursday, a little switch there. Wouldn't be anything too crazy.
Yeah.
Some of this formatting I get particular about. You can mess with it as much as you want, though. Have at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see
Love it.
Usually 3 miles I'm doing more as your aerobic. We'll just start getting comfortable there. 4 miles is going to be easy. I did make sure right before the long run I have easy versus an aerobic. That would kind of 2 in a row, which we're looking to avoid. I love a harder workout. Aerobic, I don't consider too hard. I'm just allowing my heart rate to get higher. Kind of the difference between easy. Again, sometimes you have to humble yourself and slow down, which can sometimes be frustrating. But an aerobic, it's like, no, I'm not going crazy, and I'm not even maybe in my mind going hard, but I'm not worried if my heart rate gets up. If I'm feeling it and I'm on a runner's high, like, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily like grinding and it's hard. and I'm just like, my heart rate's going nuts and my muscles, they're tense, my lactic acid is building up.
Yeah.
Like that's more intervals and then a little bit of tempo. Aerobic is just I'm letting myself to really kind of maybe let loose if it's a really nice day. Whereas easy runs, one reason I'm so grateful I always had Coda to run with me on easy runs is he would slow me down, right? Like he wasn't able to go at that pace. And so I could see myself, if I didn't have him, dude, there were days I felt great. And you just hit a runner's high. Maybe you're even going like on a slight gentle downhill, and you hit a high and you just want to open up your hips and just stride out.
Yeah.
But you know that would put you easily faster than race pace, which is like not what the day was prescribed for.
Wow.
But
see, that's a discipline, man. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a nice solid first week. We're getting some aerobic runs in. We haven't hit anything tempo yet. We haven't hit any intervals yet, and it'll look very similar for weeks 2 and 3. But now we just are looking to, make sure we can get our mileage in.
Word.
Coming in here for an 8-miler. We'll probably do a step down before we come back. Back in it, jumping around here a little bit.
And you're basing these off of just experience.
Yeah, because again, like I'm looking at this off day, I'm thinking I either want to have like a decent aerobic run coming off this right now. I'm not looking at tempo or intervals yet, so I'm looking at aerobic coming off an off day. And so I know that's going to probably keep my mileage a little bit lower compared to maybe some of the easy runs we're going to sprinkle through.
Sure.
And so now, again, what I looked at here is I'm going to try to get a longer run in the middle of the week going for you. It'll definitely be at an easy pace, no question.
I see.
And following that up with an off day almost. It'll get to where 2, 3, 4, 5 miles at some point is going to feel like an off day. You know, right now I'm for my ultra marathon prep, I'm almost hit my 30-day mark of haven't missed a day of running. But in my mind, I've had off days. Like I've had days where I've gone for 3, 4 miles. And sometimes I'll think to myself, like, did you even do anything today? And you're going to get to that point. So following it up.
That's nuts, man. Love it.
And you kind of start to see a little bit of the pattern here.
Yeah.
You know, keeping those aerobic runs away from each other, following it up the aerobic after that kind of easier day, making sure before the long run dropping back down. If I wasn't so worried.
I just had a moment of, man, it's fucking real now. Let's go, dude.
Yeah,
Let's
dude.
go.
It is. It is. I remember when I wrote my training plan, I printed it out and I put it on my vision board. I remember that feeling.
I'm probably gonna have to do it, dude.
Because like when I said there's workouts that were starred, it's like, oh, you just stare at that vision board, stare at that calendar, and you just know it's coming. And like in your mind, you knew this is like a checkpoint. This is a check mark. Am I on pace? You know, especially if you're trying to hit specific paces.
Yeah.
And in these workouts, you know, if your tempos are written and it tells you this is the pace to do it at, you know, you want to hit that. You don't want to walk away from that workout knowing like, dude, I was supposed to hit 7-minute miles and I was falling apart. I was hitting 7:20s because I had a crappy night of sleep. I didn't eat at all that day and I did a workout in the afternoon. I didn't have any energy during that workout. It's starved. Like you're planning the day before, you're thinking about it. It's going to be on your mind for sure.
I love it. I love it.
So we're going to do that little bit of a step down. Had a little static there. Did you hear that? Okay, good. Sometimes
Wow.
So here's an example of a little bit of tempo that we're going to get started for you. Again, on a step down week, I love to up the intensity somehow. Maybe it's strength training, which is not even on this calendar at all. You know, maybe I'm going to try to hit the gym more than usual, whatever that looks like is your base, or do more of a strength workout and not so much of a, you know, low weight, high reps. Maybe I'm going to do the high weight and low reps type of workout.
Makes sense. On these taper weekends.
On these step down weeks, yeah.
Step down weeks, yeah.
And I hope you all know and have experienced what it's like typing in front of people. I'm all just all over the place here. So when someone's looking over your shoulder, you can't type for shit.
That's true. That's
looking
true.
like a freaking
That's
keyboard class, right?
Well, you haven't messed up once, so.
Oh, I've been all over the place. I've been deleting.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm glad it's not too.
Yeah, hasn't shown, so you're set, dude. Dude, I think I'm like really most excited about like just really getting into like an actual flow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like like I've already been running a bunch, but it's been like whenever I could get a run in, and just it's been like, okay, I feel like I can do 3 miles today, let's go. Like there's been some, like, you know, when I changed the shoes over, there's been some like I have to be really like patient, and I have to do like a mile here, a mile and a half, mile and a quarter, you know, 2 miles. But I mean, before that, and even in a lot of that, it's just been like day of, like, okay, when can I get a run in, and how far am I going to go? And so like this feels like it'll be a completely different kind of like flow or like level.
It takes the thinking out of it too. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Not to have to sit there and be like, oh, what should I do? And then you feel like you were weak because you chose to do something easy that day.
Well, and I feel like I've instilled the habit of running at this point. Like I've gotten to the point of showing up. And so this, yeah, it's just, it feels, it's leveling up. It just feels like it's leveling up. And I'm just excited to, oops, here, let me scroll down to get in that.
Yeah, just getting a few of these sprinkled in. I do at one point want to just generally switch you over, like we were talking about, to the Saturday long run, because your race is on a Saturday.
Ah, okay.
So here, right during the marathon specific training, at some point we will switch you over. And again, like if that happens sooner just because of life, if Sunday ends up at sooner than not becoming a big day that you have a lot going on, you could always switch that long run sooner.
Yeah. Dude.
Sorry, just these freaking colors.
No, not you. It's not you. I saw race day down here at the bottom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There
on
it
a
is.
Saturday.
There it is, dude. It's right there. I'm looking right at it. Wow.
November 12th would be the end of the week, but November 11th is where that race day falls. Okay. I love it. We're in it. Let me ask you this. How are you feeling, generally speaking, about finding a track, being able to do these interval workouts?
I'm going to have to search for one. I tried to find one A little while ago, maybe a month ago at this point, 3 weeks ago, month ago, and it was a private track, so I couldn't really do anything.
All the high schools around me, two of the three, I called the high schools asking them, "Hey, is your track open to the public?" And they gave me weird answers. It was always like, "Well, if it's open, but they're not using the actual track." And so like I finally found one that they were doing like soccer practice and lacrosse practice another time, and I would just walk in and started using it.
And they were like, whatever.
No one said anything.
No one said
yeah.
anything?
In fact,
Yeah.
like when I was coming around some of the corners, different times, what looked like would be the coaches would be kind of close to the track, and I'd just be like, "How you guys doing today?" Or how you doing? But I'm pushing. I'm doing intervals, right? So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, guys? But
They didn't say anything. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. There's a couple that I've found on Google Maps around me, but I'm just gonna have to like actually go to them and see what the deal is.
nice.
So yeah.
Okay, getting here to our first kind of interval workout. 2 miles easy, and then 4 sets of 800 meters. So do a half mile, rest 2 minutes, 4 times. And
So
then
this is essentially one of the Yaso, right? Or is this?
it's in that realm.
It's in the
definitely for
same
sure. The
area?
Yasos are a specific number of reps and at a certain pace. This is
Like a version of it that's just stripped down.
yeah, exactly. Just kind of building up to that workout.
I see.
I tend to use a lot of just abbreviations and stuff. I thought about just spelling more things out here with our viewers, but so the pace we're looking at is going to be 10 seconds slower than what our goal race pace is. And I know you and I kind of have talked about some different race pace goals and kind of doing a check-in maybe sooner than later and making some adjustments to those numbers. So by keeping it general, whatever your current race pace goal is at that point in time, we're going to go 10 seconds slower than it.
Can you hear my kid?
I cannot.
No. Okay.
She's not very happy right now.
She's just struggling to go to sleep. I don't want to do it. If she struggles for too much, I may go help Rye get her down to
Bring
sleep.
some reinforcements.
Yeah. Bring in some reinforcements. Perfect.
And I mean, realistically, like we don't have to do this whole calendar here with the viewers. I think we could kind of summarize with a few of the last ideas that we would think about as we're going through. But really, it's rinse and repeat. We're just going to continually do this, building the intensity of some of these different tempos and intervals and building that long run. So it really is just kind of a lot of doing the same thing over and over. I think the viewers probably have the general idea.
Yeah, keep going though. Keep going though. It's keep going for a second. It's fine.
So yeah, one of the next concepts I was going to talk about is a lot of people will talk about doing the interval workouts and the tempo workouts 10 days apart, but not together. So anytime I do an interval, I should probably wait 10 days before I do another one. But going 10 days is too long without doing a hard workout. So that's why I would put a tempo in there. And then I would wait 10 days from that tempo to another tempo.
Interesting.
Kind of is like a general pacing.
It's like
is
a leapfrogging
pacing,
almost.
A little bit. But then again, we have obviously our long runs, our easy runs, and then we're going to use those aerobic runs to kind of blur that up and kind of blur the line between, so it doesn't feel like we're going so long without doing something intense. And pushing that needle of fitness.
That makes sense.
So as I'm looking at this tempo workout, I could have sprinkled one in here. We did like this aerobic run, I could consider switching to more of a tempo, which I think I might. Yeah, no, I'm gonna leave it for now. But that idea, like here's one tempo. This would be 7 days, 8, 9, 10. Right in this realm, could do another one. But here we are. One thing a lot of runners will look at is that percentage of how many miles they're doing per week are easy versus hard. And this is where there's a lot of confusion. So a lot of people say 80%. So 80% of your miles should be easy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But a lot of times when people, if you were to look at week 3 and you were to calculate how many are hard miles, on Wednesday of week 3, it's 1 mile easy and 1 mile easy. So really, even though that's maybe kind of a hard workout in our minds on the calendar, it's only 1 mile of hard at race pace. But some people would count 3 miles, and it makes it so you hit your percentage too fast. Like, dang, I have no room to do hard workouts. But it's like, yeah, but you're down the line, you're going to spend 2 miles of warm-up time. Like, don't count that towards your hard miles. And I think that's where a lot of confusion creeps in.
That makes sense, yeah. And those runs, yeah, like even on that Tuesday of week 5, 2 miles easy, and then those ones, and then 1 mile easy. But that's considered, there's 3 miles easy in there, but that's considered a hard workout, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Here we go. We're going to go 2 miles easy. Again, it's kind of the warm-up. We should really still do a warm-up. This is one of my biggest flaws, is not spending 10, 15 minutes of dynamic stretching or striders. Sometimes I would, in my mind, of like, I'll use that 2 miles easy
as my warm-up.
Yeah, so that's a dangerous game. I would really try to be loose. And then 2 miles easy. We're going to do 1 mile 2 times at race pace, 2 mile or 2 minute rest in between those, and then finish with another mile easy. So again, the building I did here is from this tempo to this tempo, because again, I'm going to call this a tempo and not an interval, because 800 meters or less is what I'm going to consider an interval. So this is my tempo. It's at least 10 days from the last one. And the last time I did a tempo, I only did 1 mile. This time I'm going to bump it up to 2 with a 2-minute rest. Maybe I do another one here soon, and it's the same 5 miles, 2 miles easy, 1 mile at race pace, and I drop that down to a 1-minute rest. Like, that could be a nice little step up, level up from that tempo workout to into the next. But in this particular case, we're just going to go from 1 mile at race pace to 2 miles.
Got it.
And then, of course,
because the first one was on the not the 5th, but the 3rd week there, that Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah. Or Wednesday. Yeah. Okay. I see.
So then this week, again, I need to wait about 10 days for another tempo. So definitely a tempo won't happen in this week, but an interval will. So again, about 10 days, probably that typical Friday workout looks like for you. This is going to be an interval for sure.
I see.
So I'm going to come back to that. A long run. Again, we're going to continue building. We're not doing a step down week quite yet. Look at that. Just like that. On August 6th, even back here, July 30th, the last day of July, you will do a 10-mile run.
Oh, dude. I do 10-mile runs in my sleep.
I love it. Oh, yeah.
No, that's exciting. Yeah, even the 9-miler, that'll technically be the longest run.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, so we're looking at 36 miles here.
I love it.
I'm thinking about coming in. We haven't done a 6-mile aerobic yet. We're kind of getting in that realm. Looking at the interval, we can do some rest days, some easier days. intervals.
Realistically, though, like I was just
Uh-huh.
thinking about it, I could do a marathon like tomorrow. It would just suck. It would just like, it'd probably take like 6 hours and just be absolutely brutal. Maybe 5 hours.
You'd get it done.
I'd get it done though. Yeah. Yeah. But this is like, that would just be like satisfying the like instant gratification thing in my mind, you know? This
Uh-huh.
is this like seeing it laid out like this is so beautiful. I'm just thinking like 20 weeks in a row, the discipline that I'm going to create for my mind of like sticking to a plan and like doing it.
We got to get your intervals to race pace because we want to get to the point that you're going to start doing intervals faster than race pace, because then we're going to trick our mind so that we're going to start doing paces that are 20, 30 seconds faster than race pace. And now we're going to start to feel like race pace is aerobic, if not easy, you know, and that's going to be like the. So here on this last interval workout, we did a 4/800s. We did it 10 seconds slower than race pace. Second rest. All right. So 2 miles easy. We're going to stay at 4 sets. 4 sets for a half mile, 800 meter. This time we're doing it race pace instead of slower than race pace. And then instead of 2-minute rest, we're going to go minute and a half for a 90-second rest. It's a longer workout than the last one because we're going to finish with another 2 miles, but it is easy. So that's kind of our level up from this interval to this interval that we're looking at.
Yeah, I see.
We do have an aerobic run, which again, this is the longest aerobic run you'll have done. So another form of leveling up.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I kept the other 3 workouts easy and then your long run.
Wild. Okay.
Here, week 7, we're coming back to a step down week.
Man, I'm going to have to. This is amazing. Oh my God, this is.
You're gonna have to what?
I'm going to have to stop going to bed at like 11 o'clock at midnight, and I have to wake up at like 6.
I'm feeling that right now. I've been feeling that 7 hours just hasn't been enough, man.
Because I remember a video you just put out. You mentioned you're like, I gotta go to bed at 9. And in your video, you're like, even saying that feels...
Dude, especially it's summer. We just hit the longest day of the year, the summer solstice.
Oh, that's right.
And it's so bright outside. Like, thank God for blackout curtains.
Yeah, but it doesn't get dark until 10.
Oh, easy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's hilarious. Yeah. But, yeah, even this, yeah, because I got to wake up at, like... For the runs during the week. Tuesdays will be easy to get the runs in because I don't work until late. But Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I mean, I like have to wake up early.
I'm going to do this. So what I'm doing here, this is a step down week. We are going to have a pretty hard tempo coming off an off day.
Keep going.
Then but then the fact that you're going to get 2 off days in that week, we're going to come back for a 5-mile easy going into the 10-mile long. So 15 miles in 2 days. I mean, you kind of did that up here anyways, but we're like maintaining that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, let's maybe finish out the maybe the green, because I can hear her in there. I hate to do that. I hate to do that.
No, don't.
I hate to do it. But I just don't want Rye to.
I think we're gonna get to the point that this is gonna get too repetitive for the viewers. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
hopefully at this point, viewer, if you're watching this, you made it this far. I hope if you're actually like have a count or a race on the calendar, that you're just so excited right now that you've gone and you've created your sheet and you're just
At
off and
minimum.
running doing your own. Yeah. You're
Yeah.
like, forget what this guy's doing. I want to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you're just in there starting to do this yourself. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, the concept of the whole thing. Yeah, easy runs, long runs, aerobic runs,
10 days apart between tempos, 10 days between intervals.
off days.
Yeah, I sprinkled that extra off day in. That won't happen very often, but definitely did on a step down week. And this is the magic. And here's the thing, though. So, some people will say, like, okay, well, let me get to this point and then see how I want to adjust the rest of it. Lay it out. We kept this general enough that when we said race pace, we didn't put in there a 7-minute mile. So like for Jet, for example, as we're working with Jet, he's going to have his paces that he's working at, but we're going to have some workouts that if he's on track, we're going to really consider bumping that up. So maybe our goal is a 3.5-hour marathon. But if we start hitting the paces that we want to hit, let's start trying to make our workouts more accustomed to a 3:20, a 3:15. And so we're going to do those check-ins. And so the same thing for you. Write out the training plan. Don't feel like you need to come back and rework it over and over, because you can get caught up in that. I got caught up in that all the time, usually due to injury, like I was tuning to before. But yeah, stick to it. The way we're writing it right now, it's kind of general enough that we just say race pace. We'll say easy aerobic. Easy and aerobic are going to change as you get more fit. And so
yeah. I want to
that's why you're able to kind of just continually do this going through. And again, when I get to this orange area where it's more marathon specific training, in that point, I'm making sure that my intervals are true intervals of being 20 to 30 seconds faster than race pace. I want to make sure I'm at that point, and I want to make sure my tempos are getting longer, and they're definitely right around race pace for those 2-mile type intervals. And that's kind of the only difference between orange. But we've really started doing that in the green. It's just we want to make sure that in the orange, the intervals are, like I said, are true intervals, and the tempo runs are getting kind of longer, kind of like our second long run of the week. Not quite to the same length of a long run, but when your long run's 20 miles, you can have a tempo workout that's easily 9 or 10 miles, especially when we build you up to like 50-mile weeks. But
yeah. Well, dude, yeah. This is. I do want to. This might be good though. I think you're right, and I do have to go check on her. But, yeah, finishing. So finishing it out and sticking to it is the big. Honestly, the big key for anyone, seeing this in the future probably is just make a chart and get started on it. First thing, put your running shoes on.
And go run for 20 minutes.
And go run.
Time-based.
Yeah, and just get out the door. But yeah, if you're doing this and like, coming up with a plan for yourself, it sounds like do it and stick to it as close as you can. Yeah, and don't.
There it is. Don't overthink it. Just go into execute mode. You don't need to be a problem solver, trying to fix things. You have a plan laid out. Just execute it.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm gonna go check on her. I should I feel like you've put the training wheels on me, and I feel like I can do this on my own, and then maybe I'll send it back to you when I've
Definitely could.
done it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then
I will throw it out there. I'm down the line, especially as I continue to build my accolades and try to, prove myself that I know what I'm doing. Maybe, right?
yeah,
I'd love to do this for people. I want
Yeah,
to be able to
that's
open up
what
that
I'm-
service. And honestly, Jet, like I've been thinking about like kind of being in that mindset of like kind of like your coach, right? So I don't have a problem laying it out for you. I
Oh,
would,
okay.
I would enjoy it. I would thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay.
If you're intrigued, if you're excited and it excites you and you want to do it, absolutely. You could do that, and then I could go and tweak things. But there's more than what I would probably show the average viewer, especially if this is a new thing. There are going to be some very specific workouts that I have in mind that I want to make sure are on the calendar, especially for you as our check mark workouts on.
I see.
Do we make adjustments at this point?
Sure.
But yeah, your choice, and we can talk about that off screen too.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking too. Like when this gets done, if it's, you'll find the balance yourself. But if it's generic enough, finding a way to get it out to anyone interested in
absolutely
kind of having it. And I think you were talking. I think you were talking about that.
Yeah. And I think the thing that I want to do when I go into more of coach mode is I'll probably come through some of these workouts and change that like race pace and just add a little extra parenthesis of like, this is the specific pace I want you to hit, brother.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, but you're exactly right. This could easily be kind of a template for anyone.
Cool. I love it. Okay, cool. I'm going to go check on her, make sure she's all right. Dude, I'm the amount of gratitude I have for you is very high. And the praise I have for you is also very high. So thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thanks to anyone watching now and in the future. Much love to you all. It's another night dive. Thanks, guys. All right, bro, dude. Thanks. Seriously, thanks. I'm gonna go get her.